Welcome to CalmVoice Audio. Tonight's audiobook is Ember of the Alchemist, a dark fantasy story of magic, betrayal, memory, and a girl hunted by an ancient enemy. Settle in, relax, and enjoy this immersive storytelling experience, written and presented by CalmVoice Audio. Chapter 1: The Blood Beneath the Palace. Tonight, in the hidden belly of Shorehaven, blood becomes a blade. Far below the music rooms, beneath the polished balconies and jeweled corridors where nobles laugh into crystal glasses, I wait in a chamber that smells of damp stone, old smoke, and fear. Across from me, a time lender bends over his work table, shoulders hunched, shirt clinging to his back. His fingers tremble as he measures powders bright as crushed stars and tips them into a bronze vessel blackened from years of forbidden work. He is not the first. Many before him promised me results. Many before him failed. Their names are gone now, scattered like ash, because failure has never interested me. But tonight feels different. The air presses close, alive with a waiting hunger. The people of Sempra have always lacked imagination. They mine time from veins, hammer it into blood iron, and spend it like dull coins. They swallow years to lengthen their lives. They burn hours in hearths to keep winter away. They feed minutes to gardens so roses bloom too soon. Fools. Time is not fuel. Time is not comfort. In the correct hands, the right blood can unmake kingdoms. The lender lifts a narrow vial. Inside it gleams the last trace of Jules Ember, the girl who hides behind frightened eyes, the girl who does not yet understand what she is. 1 year of her blood iron. A single stolen year. He pours. Light explodes upward. For one breath, the underground room becomes noon. White fire floods the walls, the ceiling, my bones. Then sound follows, a deep, brutal like the striking of a war drum large enough to shake the world. The force throws us both down. My back hits the floor, but laughter tears out of me. Behind my closed eyes, I see a town burning. Crooked roofs. Muddy lanes. A poor little place with a poor little name. Crofton. When I stand, the time lender lies gasping among spilled powders, his face gray, his eyes wide with awful comprehension. So it is you, he whispers. He tries to say my true name. He does not finish. In the bronze cauldron, liquid magic stirs, neither silver nor gold, every color and none. It shifts when I look at it, as if the human eye is too crude to hold its shape. I lift the vessel and drink only a mouthful. Pain opens in my throat like a hooked knife. My body convulses. I grip the table and wait for Jules Ember's time to revolt inside me, to slice me apart as it did once before. It does not. Instead, strength slips into my veins. Power wakes. All around me, the world seems packed with locked doors, and I have found the key. I pour several drops into a dark green bottle, thick enough to hide the light within. The rest I keep. One does not waste a miracle. Above ground, in the night air, I place the bottle into Ivan Tenburn's hands. He has learned to fear me. Good. Fear steadies people. Take it to Crofton, I whisper. And make me a fire. By dawn, notices will be nailed throughout Sempra. Jules Ember of Crofton. Murderer of the first queen. Murderer of Lord Rowan Girling. Wanted alive. Reward, 500 years in blood iron. Let the kingdom hunt her. Let grief drive her straight to me. This is an immersive story best heard in the dark, an audiobook of old magic, cruel patience, and a heart that refuses to die. Chapter 2: Blood in the Moonlight. When I wake, my hands look red. For one wild moment, I think the blood is real. I claw at my palms, rubbing them against my wet cloak until the skin burns. Then a cloud shifts over the moon, the shadows loosen, and the red vanishes. Only memory remains. I am curled in the corner of Alma's shed, just beyond the fields outside Crofton. 3 chickens watch me from their pen with bright, suspicious eyes. Rain taps the roof in soft, uneven beats, each drop slipping through the dark like a whisper. Once, rain meant safety. When I was little, Papa would hold me close while storms muttered over our cottage. He told me rain woke the wheat, filled the streams, softened the earth for seed. It was the sound of bread still to come, of soup over the fire, of tomorrow. Now it sounds like footsteps. I should not have come here. I know that. After fleeing Everless, I meant to keep moving west toward Ambergris, the dock city where Liam Girling promised a ship would wait. Away from Sempra. Away from soldiers. Away from the girl with ancient eyes who stepped out of my nightmares and into my life. Caro. The sorceress. My enemy before I knew I had enemies. But when the familiar shape of Crofton rose from the woods, the bent roofs, the muddy track, the little shed by the plowed field, my legs betrayed me. I saw home, or what was left of it, and I stopped. Our cottage is only a short walk from here. No. Not ours anymore. Papa is gone. The house is gone from me. Everless too, the grand estate I hated and loved, the place that devoured him, the place where everything began again. Outside, something cracks. I freeze. Slowly, I lean toward a gap between the shed boards and peer into the rain. Trees sway in the wind, their branches twisting like long black fingers. Lightning flashes, and for a heartbeat I see her face among them, pale eyes, dark hair, a smile sharp enough to cut. I jerk back, breath trapped in my chest. Dreams cannot hurt you, Papa used to say. He was wrong. Soldiers have searched the woods for days. I heard them blundering through brush, calling my name like a curse. Murderer. Witch. Snake. If a bleeder found me, he might slit my throat and drink the years from my veins. If soldiers found me, they would drag me in chains to Shorehaven. I do not know which fate frightens me more. Still, I wait. Because after sunrise, Alma will come for the eggs. And I need to know whether my oldest friend will scream when she sees me. Chapter 3, The Friend at the Door. The shed door opens before I am ready. Gray morning slips in around Alma's shape. She stands with a blanket over her shoulders and a basket hooked on one arm, her red cheeks bright from the cold. For one aching second, happiness rises in me so quickly it almost hurts. She is alive. She looks healthier than when I last saw her. The blood iron Liam sent me after Papa died, the coins I gave her, must have helped. Maybe she and her little sister have eaten well. Maybe the roof no longer leaks. Maybe something good came from all this ruin. Then she sees me. The basket tilts in her hand. I try to stand, but my knees are stiff from cold and fear. My voice comes out rough from days without speaking. Alma. Her eyes widen. Her mouth opens, closes, opens again. Jules, she breathes. My name in her voice nearly breaks me. I brace one hand against the wall and force myself upright. I do not move toward her. Not yet. Not while she stares as if I might vanish or lunge. At last she whispers, "Tell me you didn't do it." She does not need to explain. All Sempra knows the story now. Jules Ember, servant girl. Jules Ember, seducer of Rowan Girling. Jules Ember, assassin of the queen. They say I cut Rowan's throat and stabbed the first queen through the heart. They say only a witch could have done such a thing. I didn't, I say. My voice cracks. Alma, I swear I didn't. Rain taps above us. One of the chickens clucks softly, absurdly calm. Alma steps inside and shuts the door. The little lantern she carries paints gold across her face, and in that light I see doubt, hope, terror, all tangled together. Then who, she asks. Who killed them? The name scrapes my throat. Caro. Alma flinches slightly, as if the word has weight. She served the queen, I continue. She hid beside her as a lady in waiting. She murdered them both and left me to carry the blame. Alma's brow tightens. Why would she kill Rowan? Because she wanted to shatter me. Because my heart was once hers. Because our hatred is older than every road in Sempra. But how can I say that? She wanted power, I answer, too quickly. Ina is queen now. Maybe Caro believes she can control her. Alma looks at me the way she did when we were children and I lied about broken cups or stolen berries. She knows. They're saying you're a witch, she murmurs. My stomach turns cold. I reach slowly into my bag. Alma stiffens, and pain flickers through me, but I keep my movements careful. From inside, I pull out the leather journal I stole from the vault at Everless, the book Papa died trying to protect. Its cover is worn soft with age. Inside are drawings and stories I once thought were childish nonsense. Fox and Snake. Sorceress and Alchemist. I hold it out between us like an offering. Do you remember the tales I used to tell you? I ask. About the fox and the snake? Alma's gaze drops to the journal. I remember. They were not only stories, I say. They were memories. Chapter 4, Fox and Snake. Alma opens the journal as if it might bite. Her lantern hovers over the pages. Rough sketches appear in the wavering light, a fox with bright, clever eyes, a snake coiled in warning, flames, stones, a heart divided. These are yours, she says quietly. You wrote them. I wrote down what I did not understand. She looks up. I swallow. My mouth is dry, my hands cold. I have rehearsed this truth through every mile of forest, but spoken aloud it sounds impossible. The fox is Caro, I say. The snake is me. Alma gives a small, strained laugh. Jules. I know. No, you don't. You're talking like fever has taken you. The sorceress is real, I say. Of course she's real. To Alma, to everyone in Sempra, the sorceress is a holy figure, protector, martyr, lady of centuries. Her carved symbol hangs above doors. Her little wooden likeness sits in windows to guard children from dark things. I think of all the shrines. All the prayers. A bitter heat rises in me. She is real, I repeat. And she is Caro. Alma goes still. The reverence in her face twists into confusion. She cannot be. She can. She has been hiding for years, maybe centuries, wearing one face after another, staying close to power while the kingdom worships the lie she fed it. The shed feels too small. The chickens rustle. Rain whispers above us. And you? Alma asks. If she is the sorceress, what are you? There is no gentler way to say it. I am the alchemist. Tears shine in Alma's eyes almost at once. The old stories called the alchemist wicked. A thief. A betrayer. A man who stole the sorceress's heart and tricked her with false stones. A monster forced to swallow his own deceit. But the truth is stranger. The stones were her heart, I say. Her life. Her time. When the alchemist swallowed them, her immortality broke apart. Not into endless life, but into lives that begin and end and begin again. Alma grips the journal tighter. You mean, you have lived before? Yes. Many times? I think so. The words tremble between us. I don't remember all of it, I admit. Only pieces. Feelings. Dreams. The journal helps. Everless helped. Caro helped, though she did not mean to. Alma closes her eyes, as if trying to hold herself together. Why are you telling me this? The question stops me. Because I am alone. Because Papa is dead. Because Rowan is dead. Because every face in the kingdom has turned against me, and if Alma does too, I do not know what will be left of me. But all I manage is, do you believe me? Silence stretches. Then Alma lays the journal down and looks at me with wet eyes. I never believed you were a murderer, she says. Not of Rowan. His name breaks something open in me. The tears come before I can stop them. I press my hand to my mouth, but it does no good. Alma crosses the shed in 2 quick steps and pulls me into her arms. For one blessed moment, I am not the alchemist. Not a fugitive. Not a cursed creature from an old tale. I am Jules Ember, and my best friend is holding me. Of course I believe you, she whispers. In this relaxing narration of grief and magic, those words are the first warmth I have felt in days. Chapter 5, Before the Day Seizes You. When Alma finally lets me go, she wipes her own cheeks with the heel of her hand and tries to look practical. So, she says, voice unsteady but determined, Caro is the fox. You are the snake. And she has hunted you through, how many lives? I think 11. Alma stares. And she killed you? I think she found me every time. The fear that crosses her face is quickly hidden, but not quickly enough. She sits beside me on a bale of straw and opens the journal again. The lantern light trembles over a line scratched in dark ink. Fox will hunt snake, always and forever. Alma taps the page. Then what will you do? The question sounds almost ordinary. As if we are planning how to stretch a loaf of bread through winter, or how to mend a dress, or how to steal apples without being caught. I'm going to ambergris, I say. Liam arranged a ship. I'll leave Sempra. Her mouth tightens. You don't like that. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. She folds and unfolds her arms, the way she always does when thinking hard. Your papa ran with you for years, she says gently. It kept you alive, yes. But it didn't end this. The truth lands heavily. I'll come back, I say. When I understand what I am. When I'm stronger. Alma looks toward the door, where dawn has begun to silver the edges of the boards. Then we had better make sure you survive long enough to return. A laugh slips from me, thin but real. She smiles at it, and for a moment I see the girl from my childhood, the one who dared me to climb trees, who traded riddles with me, who believed every wild story I told by firelight. Seize the day, Jules, she says. Before it seizes you first. It is one of her favorite sayings. In Sempra, the poor learn early that tomorrow is not promised. Time can be taxed. Time can be stolen. Time can be bled. I need food, I admit. And maybe a little time to sleep. You can stay here today, Alma says. Soldiers came through before dawn. They won't search again so soon. My whole body loosens with gratitude. I'll bring bread, she continues, already gathering eggs with brisk efficiency. And something hot if I can manage it. Maybe soap too, if the market is kind. I glance down at my mud-caked cloak. She grins. You look like a woodland spirit that crawled out of a bog. The laugh that bursts from me startles us both. Alma pauses at the door, basket full, face bright with fragile hope. I'll be back before you know it. Then she is gone. I sleep curled in straw and shadow, surrounded by the sleepy rustle of chickens. For the first time since Everless, no nightmare finds me. Instead, I dream of summer fields heavy with pollen, of Alma running ahead with her hair loose, of Papa smiling across our cottage table while venison smokes over the fire. In the dream, I am warm. Then shouting rises beyond the walls. Papa's smile fades. The smell of smoke thickens. When I wake, the smoke is real. Chapter 6, Crofton Burning. The far wall of the shed glows orange. For one frozen breath, I cannot understand what I am seeing. Then a tongue of fire curls through a crack in the boards and kisses the straw. The chickens shriek. I lunge to my feet, grab my bag, and kick the back wall with everything in me. Once. Twice. The rotting boards groan. On the third blow, they burst outward into rain-damp earth. I tear open the chicken pen. The birds scatter past me, flapping wildly toward the fields. Then I turn. Crofton is burning. Flames climb the roofs of my childhood town, bright and ravenous beneath a smoke-black sky. They leap from wall to wall, window to window, as though the village has been waiting all its life to ignite. Alma. Her name leaves me as a gasp. I run. The fields blur beneath my feet. I stumble over stones and furrows, over roots hidden in mud, but I do not slow. People are fleeing in the opposite direction, shadows carrying bundles, children, cages, whatever could be snatched in the instant before home became fire. No one notices me at first. Or if they do, fear has already taught them to keep running. Heat strikes when I reach the main road. It slams into my face and steals my breath. Smoke claws at my throat. Crofton's narrow lanes are lit with a terrible brightness, orange, gold, white at the center where flames burn hottest. The schoolhouse is gone. Market stalls collapse into sparks. A clothesline burns overhead, shirts and sheets fluttering like fiery banners before drifting down in ash. Alma. I scream. No answer. A timelender's shop blazes on the corner. Inside, I hear something bubble and hiss. Blood iron melting. Years burning. Lives turned to fuel. A memory flashes, Everless gardens, nobles feeding time to flames for warmth and beauty. But this fire is wrong. It does not spread like ordinary fire. It gathers. It breathes. It moves with purpose, shrinking and swelling in a steady rhythm, like the chest of some sleeping beast. Caro. A man bursts from a house ahead of me, clutching a small copper figure of the sorceress to his chest. Fire spills after him, not out, not upward, but forward, flowing in his footsteps like a hunting animal. He grabs my arm as he passes. Run. What happened? I cough. Tenburn, he chokes. Something he brought. Something cursed. Before I can ask more, a woman appears through the smoke. Susanna, the farrier. She knew Papa. She once drank soup at our table. Her eyes land on me. Recognition hardens into hatred. Snake, she spits. The word cuts deeper than smoke. My brother is dead because of you. No. She shoves me. I fall backward into flame. Chapter 7, The Fire That Would Not Touch Me. Pain swallows the world. Then vanishes. I open my eyes and find myself lying among coals that should have scorched me to bone. Around me, fire curls in a perfect ring, close enough to warm my skin but not close enough to burn. It has drawn back. From me. Susanna and the man stare from the street, faces pale beneath soot. Soldiers. Susanna screams. Help. She's here. I push myself upright. For one terrible second, I want to plead with them. You know me. I am Pierce Ember's daughter. I chased goats through these lanes. I bought bread from your stalls. I belonged here. But that girl is already gone. Caro's lies have reached Crofton before I did. To them, I am not Jules. I am the alchemist reborn, the queen killer, the witch from the old tale, the snake. And now fire kneels aside for me. There is no time to explain. Alma. I turn and run deeper into the burning town. The flames part around my feet like water around stone. Smoke thickens until every breath scrapes. My eyes stream. Still, I follow the lanes I know by memory, the crooked turn by the well, the alley behind the baker, the narrow road toward the butcher shop where Alma spent her mornings trimming meat and her afternoons pretending not to listen to gossip. The closer I come, the worse the destruction becomes. The butcher's street is nearly gone. Buildings have folded in on themselves. Beams jut out like broken ribs. The air is a storm of sparks and gray ash. Alma's shop is a smoking ruin, its rooms torn open to the sky. No, I whisper. I climb through the wreckage, burning my hands on splintered wood, though the flames themselves still refuse to touch me. A broken teapot lies in the ash. A half-melted hook. A strip of curtain blackened at the edge. Alma. A beam shifts and falls with a crash that shakes embers loose from the walls. Through the gap it leaves, I see her. She is slumped against fallen timber, eyes open but empty. For a moment, my mind refuses to understand. Then I am on my knees beside her. There are no burns. No blackened wounds. Only blood spreading darkly along her side, soaking into her red dress. A dagger handle protrudes from her back, its silver hilt smeared and unmistakable. Ivan Tenburn's blade. Caro did not merely burn my home. She set murder ahead of the flames. A sound rises from me, too broken to be a word. I grasp for the threads of time, for the strange power buried in my blood. I command the world to reverse. Save her. Smoke curls inward. Embers dim. Blood seems to shrink, drawing back toward Alma's body. Hope flares. Then sickness hits me, deep and total. My strength collapses. The world snaps forward again. Alma remains dead. My scream tears through the ruin. The remaining walls of the butcher shop give way. Beyond them, through smoke and falling ash, soldiers in royal purple stand waiting. Chapter 8, Taken in Chains. Seize her. The command cuts through the roar of fire. I sag over Alma's body, emptied. Magic has drained out of me, leaving only a hollow ache where my heart should be. Boots crunch through ash. Soldiers advance, faces wrapped in cloth against the smoke, weapons drawn. Beside Alma's loosened hand, something catches the light. A butcher knife. I do not think. I close my fingers around it and slide it into my sleeve. Then the soldiers are on me. They do not touch my skin if they can avoid it. They bind me in chains, arms, waist, wrists, all wrapped so tightly the iron bites. They handle me as if I am a beast that might wake and tear them apart. Good. Let them fear me. They drag me from Crofton while the town collapses behind us. My toes scrape through soot. Sparks drift down like cruel stars. Somewhere people sob. Somewhere wood screams as it breaks. I do not look back. If I look, I will see Alma's face. Instead, I fix my gaze on the dark shapes of the soldiers and listen. To Shorehaven, one says. To Caro. They throw me into a prison carriage walled in metal. The door slams. Darkness shuts around me. For a while, I hear only the clatter of wheels and the fading roar of Crofton burning. Then even that becomes memory. In the black, Alma's voice returns. Seize the day, Jules. My throat tightens. Caro killed her. Even if Ivan held the knife, even if the soldiers carried out the order, Caro shaped the moment. Caro lit the match. Caro knew pain would pull me home. The sorceress wanted to break my heart. She has not yet understood. A broken heart can still become a weapon. I could try to escape. Somewhere under grief and exhaustion, the alchemist's power waits. Perhaps I could stop time long enough to slip from the chains. Perhaps not. But if I flee now, Caro remains hidden behind palace walls. Ina remains in danger. Everyone I love, everyone still living, remains a target. So I sit in the dark. I breathe smoke. I keep the knife hidden against my arm. And I let the soldiers take me to Shorehaven. Chapter 9, The Road to the Sea. For 3 days, the carriage is my world. A narrow barred opening in the door shows me scraps of sempra, tree trunks sliding past, pale dawn over fields, the flash of birds rising from hedges, rainwater shining in wool ruts. The soldiers avoid towns. They keep to empty roads, wooded paths, and long stretches of open plain where no crowd can gather to tear apart the queen's accused murderer. They shove bread and water through the slot. I barely eat. Anger is enough. Dread is enough. Grief sits in me like a stone too large to swallow. At night, the carriage rocks and groans. Chains clink whenever I move. I sleep in pieces and wake with Alma's name in my mouth. Sometimes I hear the guards outside. I don't like bringing her to Shorehaven now, a woman mutters. Not during the coronation. Every lord and lady in the kingdom will be there. Not our concern, a man answers. One more day, and she belongs to the queen. A pause. Then, lower, 500 years. Do you know what that means? Enough to buy a lifetime. My wife is expecting. Their words fade beneath the wheels. 500 years for my living body. In Sempra, life has a price. Mine has become a fortune. Whenever they let me out, 6 soldiers surround me with rifles and daggers raised. Their hands shake. Their eyes follow every breath I take. Once, that fear would have sickened me. Now a cold satisfaction stirs. They should be afraid. The thought frightens me more than they do. On the 3rd night, the land changes. The air sharpens. Salt slips through the metal seams. The road becomes smoother, wider. More carts join the way, though we remain apart from them, covered wagons full of fruit, cages of bleeding animals, trunks tied under oilcloth. All heading east. All heading toward the palace. Toward Ina's coronation. Toward Caro. Near dawn, I hear it, waves breaking against stone. I haul myself to the barred window, chains scraping, and see the sea. Chapter 10, Shorehaven Rising. The ocean is larger than any fear. It opens below the road in a vast black sweep, restless and shining. Waves crash wide against cliffs far beneath us, sending spray into the air. Even knowing this is only a cove, not the full endless sea, I can barely breathe. All my life, Sempra felt like a cage. Now I see the bars, water on every side, keeping us trapped with our hunger, our blood iron, our bargains made in years and days. Then the carriage crosses a narrow bridge between cliffs, and Shorehaven appears. The palace rises from stone as if the cliffs dreamed it into being. Pale towers lean at graceful, impossible angles. Hundreds of windows glow gold in the dark. It is not symmetrical like Everless, not stern or proud in the same way. Shorehaven looks grown rather than built, a luminous creature perched above the waves. A pain spears through me. I know this place. I have never come here as Jules Ember, yet recognition moves through my bones. If sunlight touched those walls, I would see veins of or threaded through the stone, coal black, gold bright, ruby and sapphire glints hidden in marble. At sunrise and sunset, the whole palace must seem to burn. A memory rises. Not mine. Mine. Dungeons beneath the palace. Chains. Blades. Fire. Caro's face above me, beautiful and patient, waiting for me to beg. I pull my collar over my mouth to smother the sound that breaks from me. Crofton's smoke still clings to my clothes. It anchors me. Alma is dead. Papa is dead. Rowan is dead. But Ina lives. My sister. The thought still feels impossible. Ina Gold, new queen, bright-eyed, sharp-witted, born with me in the burning town of Briarsmoor. I learned the truth only as everything shattered. She must believe what the kingdom believes, that I killed the queen and Rowan. Unless I can reach her. Unless she listens. Perhaps together we can expose Caro. Perhaps the crown can turn against the sorceress hiding in its shadow. Hope is dangerous, but I cling to it anyway. The main road ahead crawls with noble carriages, sleek and black beneath hanging lamps. Laughter drifts from within palace walls, thin and musical. Somewhere in that brightness, Liam may be waiting. I imagine his dark eyes. His voice saying one word. Alchemist. Not Jules. I push the thought away. The carriage turns from the procession onto a narrower road along the northern wall. Below, jagged rocks jut from the sea like teeth. Above, guards pace. Music swells faintly through glass balconies strung with lanterns. I touch the knife hidden in my sleeve. Find Ina. Stop Caro. Survive long enough to choose what comes after. Chapter 11, Garden of the Sorceress. The carriage passes through a narrow gate set into the palace wall. It groans shut behind us, cutting off the worst of the sea. Sudden quiet falls, broken only by distant music and the sigh of wind through leaves. When the door opens, moonlight pours in like cold milk. Gloved hands reach for me. I scramble out before they can drag me and collapse onto damp grass. My legs cramp from days folded in darkness. Chains weigh me down. For a moment, all I can do is breathe. The prison yard is no yard at all. It is a garden. Moonlit flowers crowd the paths, white and blue and deep violet. Slender trees bend in the sea wind. Petals shiver under lantern light. Beyond them, the palace windows glitter high above, each one a golden eye. I searched those windows for a sign of Ina. Then a voice speaks from the shadows. Hello, Jules. My body turns to ice. Caro stands among the flowers, motionless as a statue carved from night. The wind lifts her dark hair. Her face is partly hidden, but I know her shape, her stillness, the awful gentleness of her voice. The soldiers release me and retreat at a gesture from her. One places my bag in her hand before leaving. The gate closes. We are alone. Caro opens the bag and draws out the leather journal. She holds it between two fingers as though it is something filthy, then tosses it onto the grass. Anger sparks through me. Papa died for that book. Jules, she says again, savoring the name. I force myself upright. Chains scrape softly. The knife presses cold against my arm. Did you enjoy Crofton? She asks. The garden seems to tilt. I lunge, but the chains bite, and I stumble. Caro does not move. You killed Alma. I arranged a lesson, she says. You are stubborn. Lessons must sometimes be vivid. My grief turns sharp enough to steady me. Why? Caro's expression softens, almost tender. Because you keep mistaking yourself for an ordinary girl. You cling to bakers' daughters and blacksmiths and foolish boys, as if love has ever saved you. Rowan was not foolish. No, she says. He was useful. I feel the knife in my sleeve like a heartbeat. Caro steps closer. Moonlight reveals her eyes as pale, ancient, patient. I told you I would break your heart. You failed. For the first time, something flickers across her face. I lift my chin. I'm still here. Caro smiles. Yes, she whispers. That is what makes you valuable. Chapter 12, A Queen Behind Glass. Caro does not take me to the dungeons immediately. Perhaps she wants me seen. Perhaps fear is more useful when dressed for ceremony. She leads me through a side entrance into the palace, and the air changes at once. Outside, salt, smoke, wet grass. Inside, beeswax, polished stone, perfume, and warm candlelight. Music trembles through the walls. Somewhere nearby, the nobility of Sempra gathers to crown a new queen while the old queen's accused killer walks in chains below their feet. Servants flatten themselves against walls as we pass. Some make signs of the sorceress over their hearts. Caro watches them with mild amusement. They pray to you, I say. They pray to what comforts them. To a lie. To a story, she corrects. Stories rule longer than monarchs. Her words crawl under my skin. This audiobook is a story too, I think bitterly, one told in whispers, in notices nailed to doors, in fear passed from mouth to mouth. The version people believe becomes the world they live inside. We climb a narrow stair. My chains scrape every step. Caro never looks back, yet I know she hears each breath. At the top, she stops beside a tall window overlooking a ballroom. Below, nobles glitter beneath chandeliers. Jewels flash at throats and wrists. Blood iron burns in hidden lamps, warming the great hall with stolen years. At the far end, on a dais draped in white, Ina stands surrounded by advisors. My sister. She looks smaller than I remember and colder than I expected. Her cropped dark hair frames a pale, freckled face. A crown waits on a cushion beside her, bright as trapped sunlight. I press my chained hands to the glass. Ina, I whisper. As if she hears, her head turns. For one impossible second, her gaze lifts toward the window. Then Caro steps beside me, and Ina looks away. She is alone, Caro murmurs. Grieving. Afraid. Newly powerful. Such people are easy to guide. She won't listen to you forever. She does not know she is listening to me now. I turn on her. Let me speak to her. Caro's smile is almost kind. And what would you say? That her beloved companion is an immortal sorceress? That her fugitive twin sister, wanted for murder, is the ancient alchemist reborn? Yes, Jules. I am sure the coronation guests would find that immersive storytelling indeed. Her mockery lands, but beneath it I hear caution. She does not want me near Ina. That means I still have a chance. Chapter 13, The Hidden Blade. Caro leaves me in a chamber with no windows. It is not a cell, not exactly. The walls are pale stone veined faintly with gold, the floor covered in rugs too fine for prisoners. A single lamp glows on a table. The door is locked from outside, and two guards breathe nervously beyond it. A gilded cage is still a cage. My bag is gone. The journal is gone. My wrists remain chained, though the soldiers have loosened the links at my waist. They searched me quickly before locking me inside, but fear made them careless. None wished to run hands along my sleeves. The butcher knife is still there. I sit on the edge of the bed and listen to the palace. Music. Applause. Footsteps overhead. The low rush of waves far below, steady as a giant sleeping. Relaxing narration, I think grimly. A gentle voice could make even this sound beautiful, the moonlit palace, the sea, the ceremony. But beauty does not soften chains. It only teaches them to shine. I draw the knife free. Its blade is short, broad, meant for work rather than elegance. Alma's work. Her hand had been near it when she died. I wonder if she tried to reach it. I wonder if she saw Ivan before the end. I wonder if she was afraid. The questions nearly undo me. I press the flat of the blade to my forehead until the cold steadies me. Seize the day. The lock is old. The hinge is newer. The guards outside whisper. Do you think she sleeps? Would you? She burned a town. She didn't burn it. Tenburn said. Quiet. Tenburn. If Ivan is here, he carries answers. Perhaps he also carries the rest of whatever Karo used to command that unnatural fire. A weapon made from my own blood. The thought makes my stomach twist. My blood brought Crofton down. No. Karo brought Crofton down. I slide from the bed and kneel at the door. The knife tip fits awkwardly into the lock. Papa once showed me how simple mechanisms worked, not to pick them, but because he believed understanding metal meant respecting it. I feel for the pins, the catch, the tiny resistance. The lock clicks. I freeze. The guards fall silent. Then one says, "Did you hear?" I throw my shoulder into the door. It slams into the nearest guard. The second raises his rifle. I fling my chained wrists upward, catching the barrel as it fires. The shot cracks past my ear into stone. Pain jolts through my arms. Time shivers. Not stops. Not fully. But slows enough. The guard's eyes widen as I twist the rifle from his hands and strike him with the butt. He drops. The other groans on the floor. I stand over them, shaking. The world rushes back to speed. Somewhere down the corridor, voices shout. I run. Chapter 14, Through the Palace Veins. Shorehaven is a maze of light and shadow. I flee through servant passages, down narrow stairs, beneath arches where cold drafts smell of salt. Behind me, alarm spreads. Bells begin to ring, not the grand bells of coronation, but sharp little warning bells that set the walls trembling. I keep to the dimmest corridors. The chains slow me. My wrists bleed beneath the iron. Twice I nearly collide with servants carrying trays. One drops a tower of sugared pastries and screams. Another simply stares, mouth open, as I race past with a butcher knife in hand and ash still ground into my clothes. At a crossing, I stop. Left, music and brighter light. Right, cold air, stone steps, the smell of damp. Downward feels like memory. I choose left. I did not come for old pain. I came for Ina. The passage opens behind a screen of carved wood overlooking the ballroom. The coronation has reached its height. Nobles stand in glittering rows. Priests in white hold bowls of blood-iron dust. Ina kneels before the crown. Karo stands at her shoulder. My fingers tighten around the knife. If I rush the dais, guards will cut me down before I reach them. If I shout, the crowd will drown me in panic. I need Ina's eyes. I need one moment. Then I see Liam. He stands near the edge of the assembly, dressed in dark formal clothes, face pale and rigid. His gaze moves restlessly over the hall, not toward the crown, but toward doors, balconies, shadows. Searching. For me? My heart trips. I lift my hand to the screen. A guard turns nearby. I duck back. When I look again, Liam's eyes are fixed on the carved partition. He has seen movement. His expression changes, shock, then something like fierce relief. Across the hall, Caro's head turns. She follows his gaze. I run before she can point. Behind me, the crowd erupts. Someone shouts my name. Someone screams witch. The bells grow louder. A side door opens ahead, and Ivan Tenburn steps into my path. He smiles when he sees me. Well, he says. The fire did its work after all. I do not remember moving. One instant he is speaking. The next I have slammed into him with all my weight, knife raised, grief and fury roaring through me louder than the sea. Chapter 15, The Commander's Confession. Ivan catches my wrist before the blade reaches his throat. He is stronger than I remember, broad-shouldered and armored beneath his uniform. We crash against the wall, and pain bursts through my chained arms. His smile vanishes. You should have stayed in your cage. You killed Alma. His eyes flicker. Who? The emptiness of it nearly blinds me. I drive my knee into him. He grunts. The knife slips lower and cuts across his sleeve. Blood beads bright on his forearm. Time stirs. For an instant, the droplets hang in the air like rubies. Ivan sees it. Fear flashes across his face. What did Caro give you? I demand. What was in the bottle? His jaw tightens. Boots thunder in nearby corridors. I press the knife under his chin. Tell me. It was yours, he spits. My grip falters. She said it would call to you. Burn what mattered. Leave paths where you walked. Draw you in alive. My blood. My time. Turned into a lure. Turned into flame. Nausea rolls through me. How much does she have? Ivan's silence is answer enough. A door bursts open at the far end of the corridor. Soldiers flood through. Ivan twists, trying to throw me aside. I let him. As he lunges, I slip behind him and shove him forward into the soldier's path. They collide in confusion. I run the other way. Jules. Liam's voice. He appears from a side passage, breathless, eyes wide. For one heartbeat we stare at each other across the chaos. He looks at my chains, my bloodied wrists, the knife. Then he looks at my face. Jules, he says again. Not Alchemist. Something in me aches. No time, I say. He nods instantly. Ina? Caro is with her. I know. The words hit me. You know? I suspected enough to look for proof. Not enough to stop this. Soldiers shout behind us. Liam grabs my chained hands, examining the lock with quick, shaking fingers. I can get you out through the old sea stairs, he says. But if we go now. She keeps Ina. His mouth tightens. Above us, the coronation bells begin to peal. Not alarm. Celebration. The crown has been placed. Ina is queen. And Caro stands beside the throne. Chapter 16, The Crown and the Flame. We reach the balcony above the great hall just as the final cheer rises. Queen Ina Gold. The sound rolls through Shorehaven like thunder. Nobles bow. Blood iron lamps blaze brighter, fed by years stolen from unseen veins. Ina stands crowned beneath the chandeliers, face pale, eyes bright with tears she will not shed. Caro is beside her, serene as a saint. Liam and I crouch in shadow behind a marble column. He has found a key somewhere and freed my wrists, though the marks remain raw and red. The knife rests in my hand. It feels too small for the size of my hatred. You cannot reach Caro from here, Liam whispers. I don't need to reach her. I need Ina to see. Below, Caro lifts a hand to guide the new queen forward. The gesture is subtle, intimate, controlling. My sister obeys. The sight burns. Power gathers inside me, not gentle, not understood, but mine. The same force that made fire recoil. The same force that tugged at smoke and blood in Crofton. I close my eyes and feel the room as a web of moments, music fading, silk rustling, hearts beating, flames consuming time. Every lamp in the hall burns with blood iron. Time made visible. Time made vulnerable. I reach for it. The chandeliers flicker. A murmur passes through the crowd. Caro looks up. Our eyes meet. For once, she is not smiling. I pull. The flames in every lamp bend toward me, long and thin as ribbons. Gold light streams upward, twisting above the hall. Nobles cry out and stumble back. Ina turns, crown flashing. Jewels, she whispers. She sees me. Caro seizes her arm. Guards. But Ina pulls free. That small act is enough to crack the world open. I step from behind the column, soot-stained, bleeding, alive. I did not kill the queen, I call, my voice shaking but clear. Caro did. The hall falls into stunned silence. Caro laughs softly, but the sound does not carry the way she expects. Too many people are staring. Too many have seen the fire answer me. Too many have seen fear on the sorceress's face. Ina looks from me to Caro. What is she talking about? Caro's expression hardens. The flames overhead turn white. Liam grabs my arm. Jewels. The fire explodes outward. Not down. Not into the crowd. Toward Caro. She raises both hands, and the light freezes between us, trembling like a living thing caught in a snare. There she is at last, not the gentle handmaiden, not the holy lady from carved statues, but the ancient creature beneath the story. The sorceress. The crowd sees it too. Gasps ripple through the hall. Caro's gaze cuts into mine, full of centuries. This is not over, Snake. No, I say, gripping the knife. The sea pounds the cliffs below. Bells ring wildly. My sister stands crowned between truth and terror. Liam remains at my side. Alma's voice echoes in my blood. Seize the day. Caro vanishes in a burst of white flame, leaving the hall reeling and the air sharp with magic. I do not chase her. Not yet. For the first time, the story has changed. And in this YouTube audiobook of immersive storytelling and dark, relaxing narration, the hunted girl lifts her head, not safe, not healed, not free, but ready. The fox will hunt the snake. Always and forever. But now the snake is hunting too. Thank you for listening to Ember of the Alchemist on CalmVoice Audio. If you enjoyed this relaxing narration and immersive fantasy audiobook, please like, subscribe, and return for more stories. Rest well, and